Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Bowling. Thank you all for joining me. Look, guys, I want to share with you guys something that I dreamed about, or rather, I would rather say, had a nightmare about last night. Now, this is the first time I've ever, from what I can remember, and I haven't been doing these YouTube channels forever, a little over a year, where I've shared a dream or a nightmare. I consider it a nightmare. I had this nightmare last night, and mind you, I wasn't thinking about anything political. I wasn't thinking about anything political. I wasn't. I was watching movies on my laptop computer, like I'm doing this video on my laptop. That's what I was doing. I was sitting up watching movies. I can't remember what movie it was I was watching actually. And I had this dream, this nightmare, and it was so intensive to me that I literally woke up. I didn't wake up screaming. You know how these movies wake up, screaming. I didn't wake up screaming, you know. But I did wake up and I shuddered. I shuddered and then shook my head. I was like, man, what was that about? And what the dream, i.e. nightmare, was about was that, and I'm only giving bits and pieces of it because it was kind of choppy. I dreamed that I was, I don't remember exactly what the location was. I don't know if it was in the city of Cleveland or somewhere else. But I remember being in the middle of this field or street area where hundreds of people were surrounding me. And I remember hearing a voice. I don't know if it's through a megaphone or a microphone of someone saying to me and all the people that was gathered that to prepare yourselves, arm yourselves and protect yourselves, because this is what I distinctly remember the individual saying over the megaphone or the microphone or whatever he or she was using. Because the radical left wants to kill you or something along that line. They're going to do bodily harm to you. And I remember seeing somewhere in the distance, I believe I was seeing people being attacked in certain areas by radical liberals. I'm not talking about the regular liberals, radical liberals. And I think this dream slash nightmare only lasted like a few seconds. And I mean, maybe like 30 seconds. And I remember, like I said, I remember waking up and I'm like, oh my goodness, man, I shook my head and I was bothered by it. Because like I said, I hadn't been thinking about politics or anything for that matter. I was watching a movie, you know. So nobody can say, well, the only reason why you had that kind of nightmare because you was thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was thinking about the movie I was watching. I'm a horror fan. I'm a movie fan and a horror fan in particular. That's what I was thinking about. And I said, man, I need to share that video because here's the thing. I made this, I won't call it a prediction, but I call it, well, yeah, okay, let me call it a prediction. I'll call it a prediction that didn't actually happen from what I know. But in this prediction that I gave, I said it may happen, it may not happen. So there, I wasn't predicting the future like it was going to guarantee it happen. But I did predict that what might happen during the midterm elections is that there may be acts of violence committed. Now, if there were by the radical left. Now, if this did happen, I didn't get any news on it. Okay. But it didn't seem to happen. There didn't seem to be any acts of violence committed during the midterms. And I'm glad because maybe perhaps it was the midterms and that was the reason why these acts of violence weren't committed. It wasn't like people were voting to put the next president in office. But in that situation, you know, I had that, you know, I gave that prediction and it didn't really turn out the way I thought it might turn out, thankfully. Okay. But in having this nightmare, okay, I'm wondering what that was all about. Now, some of you watching this video, you may say, well, that came out of your subconscious, Mr. Bowling. You've been saying this for the longest. You know, you've been saying it might be a war for the longest. And this, that, and the other. You've been saying it might be a war. You've been saying this for the longest. You've been saying that the radical left is going to attack people on the right for the longest. You've been saying this for the longest. And it might have came out of your subconscious. Maybe. Maybe it might be something God showed me. I don't know. Let me say this. Do I believe personally that there's going to be another civil war? Yes, I do. Do I believe that this is going to be more than likely initiated by the radical Marxist left? Yes, I do. Now, here's my reasonings for that is this. Number one, the Marxists that have infiltrated our government, infiltrated the entertainment industry, infiltrated our churches and religious institutions, infiltrated the educational system. They are hell bent on causing chaos. They're not trying to cause unity. They're trying to cause chaos by pitting groups of people and individuals, but mostly groups of people, against each other. Okay, causing as much division as they possibly can. The Marxist insurgents are agents of chaos. That's what I personally believe that we're seeing in the mainstream media and seeing everywhere else. Every time you turn around, some group is hating another group. Some group is mad over another group over something that they said. And the Marxists capitalize off of this, which I believe that they incited through different means. They capitalize off of this. And the objective is to bring in either socialism or communism. But on a foundational level, socialism. And then hopefully, their hope, communism. Okay, that's the objective. So that's one of the reasons why I believe that there's going to be an eventual civil war. The other reason why I believe this, there's going to be another war. There's going to be bloodshed initiated, and most of this bloodshed is going to be initiated by the radical left, is because as a Christian who believes in Bible prophecy, I believe that the book of Matthew chapter 24, Jesus made a prophecy concerning wars. And he said in Matthew, the book of Matthew, New Testament book of Matthew, chapter 24, that in the last days there will be wars and rumors of wars. And then he said, nation shall rise against nation. Now, the Greek word for nation in that particular verse, because the New Testament was mostly written in Greek, the Greek word for nation is ethnos. Ethnos has to do with ethnicity. Ethnicity has to do with different racial groups. So what Jesus was saying in essence is that races will rise against races and there will be wars. So some of the wars that are going to be initiated and acted out will be wars against people groups, not just wars against nations. So that's the other reason why I believe there's going to eventually be another war here in America, another civil war, whatever you want to call it. Now, that dream/nightmare I had, like I said, I'm not predicting that that's what's going to happen. But I find it interesting that I had that kind of dream that disturbed me to the point where I woke up shaking my head and really kind of nervous. Okay. Here's my deal. Here's the way I sum this up. I won't say here's my deal. Here's the way I sum this up. What is the solution to this? To me, the solution is, as the person was saying in the video, I mean, not the video, the dream, stay armed. Yes, stay armed. But I believe the solution to this is that those on the right or conservatives, try your best not to allow the liberals to get at you, or the radical liberals to get at you to the point where you almost hate them, to the point where you just so agitated and so mad and angry that you want to fight. Don't let them do that to you. They're purposely trying to stir up anger in you. Don't allow the radical left to get you to become angry with different groups of people that you weren't angry at before. You may have had some light frustrations, but you wasn't angry to the point where you ready to fight. You got, let me say it. Let me say this, man, because there's so much about this that I've been seeing and observing, how the Marxists work. All this stuff about, when I see all these TV shows and movies and even commercials with all these black people in them. A person can look at it and say, okay, good. Hollywood is seeing what they need to be doing. I don't see that. I don't see Hollywood trying to push equality now and giving blacks opportunities to act. For the actors and actresses, they're happy. They're happy as a lark because they're working and they're making money. I get that. I understand that. But I don't see that. I think this is a Marxist move. I don't think that seeing all these black people in movies and commercials and sitcoms and black this and black that and black this and black this, you see all this stuff and black people walking around with afros, black it was in the 60s. What is that all about? I don't see Hollywood trying to be more even-handed with blacks. And that's not what I see. What I see, for me, is Marxism. The Marxist producers and the Marxist writers are purposely, the way I see it, in my opinion, trying to cause jealousy, envy, and anger in white actors and white actresses. The purpose is to cause them to be angry with black people to the point where, excuse me, they're ready to get into an argument with them, get upset with them, verbally express this. Because if they verbally express it, what are they going to be deemed? You're racist. Okay? And with the black actors and the black actresses, the Marxist producers and Marxist writers are trying to stir up anger and bitterness and resentment in them, right? Because by constantly showing or producing movies that deal with racial issues. Like just recently, what was it? They made a movie about the young boy that was beat to death. I forget his name. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. Megger, I believe. I forget his Megger, I believe his name. Forgive me for that, but the young boy that was beat to death. My apologies, not Megger. I was thinking about something else. Emmett Till. Emmett Till was his name. And just recently, they made a movie about this, Emmett Till. Now, my question is, why would you make a movie in 2022 America about Emmett Till? I mean, unless, they found the person that, the persons that killed the young boy. I believe they found the person that killed the young boy and did what they did. And in that sense, yeah, you need to address it. That needs to be made known. These people need to be brought to justice. Big time. And in my opinion, death penalty. Death penalty, period, Because that was horrible. I saw the picture of the boy, okay? I saw him and it was horrible. Horrible. How could you do something like that? Emmett Till. But I still had to ask the question, why would you make a movie about that? I personally believe that that's a Marxist move. Not just a financial move, but a Marxist move to keep blacks angry with whites. Blacks actors angry with white actors angry with black actors and actresses. Keep the anger and resentment flowing. That's how Marxism works. It creates division or exploits inner tension that may have already been there, but was dealt with professionally and dealt with right. What they do is they come in and they incite that aggravation. They blow it up out of proportion and cause the groups to come against each other to the point where they are ready to fight each other, thus creating a Marxist revolution. That's what I believe that's all about. That's what I believe. And that's why I believe we're going to eventually have this. So I think the answer to that is to know when these Marxist points are being pushed on you, to be able to recognize and discern them so that you won't fall for them. That's my answer. The solution, the way I see it, is to be able to recognize the Marxist points that they're trying to push and don't let them push you there. When you can see the enemy coming, when you can see the devil, then you are able to be able to ward him off. But when you don't see him coming, he's going to take you like a lion. So my answer today is, see the devil, i.e. the Marxists, before they come and hit you with this kind of division. Once you recognize the enemy, you're able to combat them and not allow them to pull you into this fit of rage and bitterness and anger to the point where you're ready to hurt somebody, because that's what they want. That's what I want to do. That's a dream / nightmare I wanted to share. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless you all, and see you again.